Each year, Pearl River Community College invites a graduate or a person of significant community and/or statewide influence to deliver the commencement address. Our speaker for today's ceremony would certainly fit in the category of one who has statewide influence. Governor Bryant was sworn in as Mississippi's 64th governor on January 24, 2012, after capturing 62% of the vote in statewide elections. Governor Bryant has a long and distinguished career of service in our state, having served as Lieutenant Governor and State Auditor. He began his career in state government as a state representative in the Mississippi Legislature. Long an advocate and supporter of our state's community college system, Governor Bryant earned an associate's degree from Hines Community College. Later, he earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Southern Mississippi and a master's degree in political science from Mississippi College. He has been a deputy sheriff in his career, as well as serving as an adjunct professor of government at Mississippi College. Governor Bryant and his wife Deborah have 2 adult children. In conclusion, and perhaps more importantly, here's what I personally know about our governor, Phil Bryant. He is a man of strong faith who lives his Christian values. He is a man who constantly demonstrates his commitment to integrity and fairness. His actions consistently reflect conservative values and his belief in the rights and his belief in the individual rights that our forefathers sought for each and every one of us as citizens of this great state. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a pleasure for me to give to you our speaker for this special ceremony, the Honorable Phil Bryant, Governor of the great state of Mississippi.
Thank you, Dr. Lovett. Thank you, sir. Good morning. I am so honored to be here with you today on this very important occasion. I'm always happy to be in Poplarville. I married a young lady 38 years ago whose uncle and aunt, Betty and Bob Applewhite, live here. Some of you may know them. They're here today with Pam. So good to have you, Robert. So I've been coming to Poplarville for about 40 years now. I love the Blueberry Festival. I'll be back this June to the Blueberry Festival once more. So this is so much like home. Dr. Lewis, thank you for giving us this opportunity to come and speak on this wonderful, wonderful occasion with all of the great students of Pearl River Community College. Now, today, it is my responsibility to deliver to you what's marked in your program as the governor's address, our commencement speaker. Now, in the course of this speech, I should somehow depart upon you words of wisdom, pearls of knowledge, as it might be, that will have an eternal impact upon your professional and personal life. Now, you and I know that's virtually impossible. The truth is, few of us who have graduated before on several occasions ever remember who our commencement speaker actually was, or what they may have had to say. I would just ask those of you that have graduated previously to go through a minor exercise to determine exactly what that speech was about, and if you can remember any of it. I dare say few of us would have any success with that recollection. So, embracing this reality, I will do my best to make this speech entertaining and interesting, if not memorable. In short, I won't keep you long. Now, for the parents of the graduating students, I know today is exciting and rewarding. I can remember the graduations of my children, thinking to myself, they are finally gone. Well, at least some of them will be. Honestly, I know each of you are very proud. Today, you have the right to hug and kiss your children, even if they don't want you to. Take that moment to say, I'm proud of you. Fathers, tell your children how much you really love them. Mom, even if your son's 6 feet tall and you have to reach up to do so, give him a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Students, no matter your age, embrace your parents today. The day will come that you would give all the world to have one more opportunity to do just that. Parents and adult students, these traditional graduates here today, these new students have a very different mindset than us baby boomers. Most of them were born in the 1990s. I have a car older than that. They were one of those generations born into hugs and loveys and pampers. See, to them, there's always been a woman on the Supreme Court, and women have always traveled into space. They've never heard Walter Cronkite suggest that's the way it is. They probably never dialed a telephone or opened an icebox. They've always had remote controls to change their televisions. And they've probably never changed a flat tire or have someone else fill up their fuel tank. While we in our generation were watching Father Knows Best and the Andy Griffin Show, they have House of Cards and Jersey Shore. And unfortunately, in their lifetime, the word adult has come to mean something dirty. Sadly, this generation has fewer heroes, I believe, than we did. You see, as a ballad of the past generation denotes, the times, they are changing. Times are different. As a young child growing up in the Mississippi Delta, my world was filled with heroes. Heroes like my dad and other veterans of World War II that had vivid memories of the days in which they saved the world from evil. Well, there were heroes in the sports world as well. Heroes like Mickey Mantle and Johnny Unitas and a little red-headed boy from Drew called Archie Manning. You see, those of us that were in that world, in the Mississippi Delta, when times were hard, dreamed and hoped of opportunities someday that we might be able to attend college. You see, I'm the first child in my entire family, not only nuclear family, but extended family as far as we could trace back, that has ever graduated from college. Thank goodness for a Honda motorcycle and Hines Community College, I got my first degree. That changed my life. Went on to the University of Southern Mississippi and later to Mississippi College, fulfilling my dream of becoming a deputy sheriff. You see, all my life I had wanted to be a deputy sheriff and be in law enforcement. You see, they were the good guys. They were always the guys standing there in the middle of the street making sure the bad guys didn't take over the town. I grew up on things like John Wayne movies and Roy Rogers on Saturday mornings. I know it sounds old school, but that's the way it was. It was a good world in so many ways, challenging in others. My first memories of reading was of a Superman comic book. For a little dyslexic kid, you see, the words seemed to work a lot better when you had the pictures to go along with it. So Superman, that was one of my comic book heroes. But little did I realize the many lessons I would learn from that 12-cent investment. See, Superman could do remarkable things that we only dreamed of. Let's reflect on just a few of them. First, you got to understand he had a very difficult beginning in life. See, both parents were killed in a cataclysmic explosion that destroyed his entire world. He was rocketed to Earth in a last desperate attempt to save his life. The infant crashed in a field, alone, abandoned, and orphaned. It was difficult times for this young child, as it was for so many of us that grew up in Mississippi during those days. But Superman, like all of you, was rescued by love. Jonathan and Martha Kent was an elderly couple who coincidentally could not have children. They became his parents. They raised him in Smallville, USA, a little town much like Poplarville. They were farmers of less means than most of the other families in the area. Clark Kent became a farm boy with a working class family. He never really knew his birth parents. But Clark Kent soon realized his true potential. See, he had super strength and X-ray vision. He could even project laser-like beams from his eyes. No man-made weapon could harm him. He was indestructible. But above all these things, Clark could fly. Untethered by the controls of gravity or the tragic circumstances of his youth, Clark Kent soon became a Superman. Due primarily to the wonderful moral examples established by his adopted parents, plus that inner desire to serve mankind, Clark chose not to rule the world, which he certainly could have done with his superpowers. But rather, he devoted his life to protecting mankind, to fight for truth and justice and the American way. Lessons in life. Now, what did I really learn from this literary hero? Well, first he overcame adversity, and adversity he did have. He even had to wear a disguise so people would not recognize who he was, and fear that they may harm his friends and family. A burden he carried with him all of his life. But Clark Kent surpassed everyone's expectations. Easy to understand that. No one particularly expects you to fly or have X-ray vision. Even your grandparents don't believe you can do such superhuman things. See, we do believe, like Clark Kent, that you can dedicate your life to a mission of service, a calling higher than your own self-interest. Now, Clark had challenges as Superman. See, there was this green substance that, if held close enough to him, could take all of his superhuman strength. In fact, could destroy him. You remember it. Kryptonite. Yeah, like alcohol or drug abuse or pornography. If it's in your life, it was in Superman's life, and long enough, it would destroy even a superhuman being. Kryptonite exists in all our lives. You just have to determine what it is and make sure you stay away from it. It's hard to have super opportunities to change the world and dedicate your life to something very special if you have that substance that can take all your powers away. So, there it is, Superman. Now, I know it sounds silly, but we grew up realizing that the influences around us were those of very positive heroes in actions, whether in real life, televisions, movies, and even comic books. There are true heroes in our midst today. Many of them are in this audience. Some we call veterans, but their very life in harm's way to make sure America was free. They became the watchmen on the walls of world freedom. These veterans continue to serve today throughout the world. Many of them have returned from foreign battlefields as wounded warriors. Heroes are in your midst. You see, they dedicated their powers to good rather than evil, to truth and justice in the American way. Officer Benjamin Dean and LaCorey Tate dedicated their powers for good. They lost their lives serving people they did not know, making sure that they protected the families, men and women and children of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, unto their death. They showed us what heroes could be. Lessons learned. Heroes are teachers, coaches, moms and dads and grandparents that have been with you all along your journey. The world needs more heroes. We need more of those that we can look up to and emulate. We need more lifestyles like a Clark Kent. Even as silly as it may sound for a comic book hero, reflect upon the great things that he did and the lessons that could be learned. Find your heroes today. Find your true inner strength. You have the capability of doing remarkable things, super feats that no one ever imagined, even from the most difficult of circumstances. All of us can achieve great things by simply rising above our own self-interest. As you see, I believe there's a little bit of Superman in us all. God bless you. Thank you, and God bless you. Congratulations, graduates.